What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of CarBiz Leaders Live featuring the principal's office, where I like to say this is the only principal's office where you actually want to come to. I have an extremely special guest today, and this man is so busy, and he was gracious enough to take the time out of his extremely busy day to talk to us about running a business. He is the CEO of Pure Cars. He is the founder of the Auto Miner and an all around bad to the bone guy, former Navy SEAL. And I can't wait to talk to him about that. So it's going to be a great show today. My guest is Aaron Sheeks, and I just know that you guys are going to love it. He is someone you definitely want to learn from. I know I do, so I can't wait to get this party started. Let's get going. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, my friend Aaron Sheeks. What's up, my friend? I knew you.
How are you?
Down to the wire.
Here I am, right on time, as
Right on time.
promised.
Awesome.
As promised. Coming at you live from the backyard here. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. And it's the best time to be in Florida. So thanks for letting me sit outside.
Yeah, no, awesome. And I've been out visiting dealerships in the Carolinas. So I'm the road warrior myself. So I'm coming at you today from Myrtle Beach.
Hey, I love Myrtle Beach.
Not as nice as Florida, but I'll take it.
There's a lot of golf. You love the golf. There's a lot of golf in Myrtle Beach, so that's the place to go.
I was supposed to golf yesterday, and it just poured. It poured so hard. The golf weather gods are not good to me. Anyway, so you've been with Pure Cars now for almost a year. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How is running a big show going?
Well, look, it is remarkably the same problems, just at a bigger scale, right? So we sold the Auto Miner over to Pure Cars last January. So it's crazy how fast it's already March, and here we are, year 2, and I'm having a lot of fun. I mean, I think they're like every company, there's people and problems and processes, and everybody's got their stuff, right? But like, it's no fun to sit around and talk about that stuff all of the time. Like, I'm having a great time. The Auto Miner is booming. Pure Cars Digag clients excited about having the partnership and using the technologies together. Has been a really good time. And I'm a creative founder type, so I like to build fun things, and I'm getting to build fun things again, even inside of the big umbrella that is Pure Cars and all of the things that we get to do. So yeah, I think long version short version long, either way, I'm having fun. Good to be here.
I think that is essential to, and I was just talking about this with my friends, is like mandatory fun, right? Mandatory fun. Like, if you are not having fun, like, it sucks going into work every day if you're dreading it, and you got to be creative in your fun. This is my fun, right? Sitting here talking with you, meanwhile, shipping cars, putting out fires, trying to keep everybody happy. The juggling of the plates, I wanted to, you have a very unique story, Aaron, and I think it's beautiful about your path from the SEALs. And I really wanted to share like how you kind of incorporate that kind of into your leadership, or if you do at all, if maybe you just put in the
Yeah,
past?
sure. So first and foremost, I am not a Navy SEAL. As much as I
Oh,
love them, I was a
okay.
pilot. I'm a lame old naval aviator guy, but I did 11 years active duty. I've been in Iraq and Afghanistan, all over the world. So
Yeah.
I've got great war stories and great leadership stories and all of those cool things. And it is the fiber of my human, it's who I am as a leader. It's
Yeah.
how I manage, and I'm a servant leader, not like in the air quotes that every internet, what do
Mhm.
you want to call it, like every random person on the internet is talking about being a servant leader. Like I learned from great servant leaders that suited up in the uniform every day, that taught and trained every day as we moved up the pecking order to,
Mhm.
being a great operator or being a great pilot or being a great whatever that was of the uniform of the day. It's who I am today. It's how I lead today. So I'm very much
Mhm.
that in my business. I am
Yeah.
in uniform. I'm wearing a logo everywhere I go. I'm in some sort of uniform. I represent my
Yeah.
brand just
Yeah.
like I represented my brand when I put the flag on. So it's
Yeah.
who I am. It's how I function. It's also maybe for better or for worse how I lead, because I am
Yeah.
very structured, but I'm also massively disciplined and
Yeah.
don't I'm a high performer that doesn't tolerate low performance very well. So
Okay.
sometimes you'd probably understand this as the CEO of the company, you're used to go. And sometimes people are not as driven maybe as we
Mhm.
tend to be in our seat. And sometimes the naval officer Aaron Sheeks is like, what is wrong with you? Why are we moving faster? I am the go faster type, but
Mhm.
it's because I'm always in the front pulling. And I think that's just who I am and how I lead. And that
Mhm.
stems from my time in the uniform without a doubt.
Now, mind you, I pulled that out of my head from like 2 years ago when we met.
It's okay.
You're still a top gun in my mind, just so you know. You're still the top gun for me, bud.
No,
And
I appreciate you. Look, there's two things I know for sure. One is that if you are a real Navy SEAL, you don't talk about it. And two,
yeah.
if you're talking about it, you're not one. So it is I don't it is I love them. Many of my friends are, but no, I
Yeah.
enjoyed suiting up for a long time and
Yeah.
still great friends today. I live in Jacksonville Beach, Florida, and the Navy base is right there. So
Yeah.
it's who I am. My family lives in the
Yeah.
community. It's a huge part of who Aaron Sheeks lives and breathes outside of the office.
Yeah. I think that, I never did the military maybe because I'm like, a wussy. But, like, I can't even like, I'm afraid of heights. I don't know. But what I would say is that I've always envied the discipline. Like, discipline has never came easy to me. It is something that
Mhm,
I've had to work very hard at.
mhm,
There's been times when I've just been a complete in disarray, and I've really had to work hard, to, like, pull myself together to even to get to where I am today, where I feel like I'm more disciplined. What do you say is, besides discipline, are some of the top strengths that you look for
mhm.
in a leader?
Leaders themselves, maybe this is a theory of my personal theory, is that the leader always stands out. It doesn't
Mhm,
always mean it's the person in charge. It usually isn't the person in charge, to be fair,
mhm,
but the leader always stands out. You know when they walk in the room, you know when she sits down, you know when they jump on a call. Like they
mhm,
radiate a different type of energy that you might be the manager, you might be in charge, but that's the leader. And sometimes they're the same person. And most of the time in the world, they're just not, because I think leaders happen at stages, at different levels. And it's kind of you unlock different levels as you move up. For me, leadership is much more about like how you get others to do a bigger thing in a unified way, more so than like what you've accomplished individually, if that makes sense.
Let's dive into that a little bit because I wanna know my own personal
Okay.
self. Okay, so, like, casting the vision, right? Casting the
Mhm.
vision to get everybody on board, to do something greater than themselves, or maybe, everybody's off doing their own thing, they're busy. We don't wanna make this change. How do
Mhm.
you sell it? How do you cast a vision where people are like,
Mhm.
"Yeah, all right, let's get to work."
Storytellers control the
Mhm,
world is something that I tell my team all of the time. And to be a great leader, you have to be a great communicator. You have to
Mhm.
be clear in communication. That doesn't necessarily mean a lot of communication. Now, in my case, I talk a lot, but in many cases, having clear, concise communication is a much more effective leader. So for
Mhm.
me, if I can take my vision, and they're usually big and they're usually crazy and they have a million moving
Mhm.
complex technology pieces, and I can
Mhm.
explain it to the 4 or 5 core people that have the skill set to achieve such monumental thing, right? Like
Mhm.
there's even a funny, he's a comedy guy, I can't remember his name, but he says like, give me 3 bad mother truckers and I'll go conquer a small country, right? Like, I don't need
Yeah.
all these people. Like, I don't need 20 people. Like, I don't
Right.
need 20 people to do big things. I need 3. And if you can
Yeah.
explain it to 3, then those 3 should explain it to 3 or 5 more. And if that, so communication from the leadership is all about communicating to the bottom through the middle
Mhm.
without losing in the game of telephone. I'm not perfect. No one is. It's hard. But
Yeah.
the clearer you communicate the vision from the top and communicate it effectively, the better chance you are at succeeding, achieving big things.
Yeah, I love that. So we got the creative storytelling, we got, going to your core people. We have them delivering the clear message. They got to be
Mhm.
competent, you know.
Mhm.
Um, what about, once how do you deal with though, maybe at the bottom level, maybe they're not bot. How do you get them into the game?
I don't.
Okay.
Their
Just
manager
yes.
does. And
Yeah.
if I hired the right person, I don't have to,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
So if like no one should come into my organization unless they've passed the character kind of test of
Mhm.
who we want. Like I could care way less about what you can physically do and more about like you meet the baseline of qualifications, but your character and your passion for being successful is significantly higher than than what you're coming in with your skill set. So finding people to come in and push the button is easy. You just pay for that. Finding someone that says, "Hey, this button should be a different shape or a different color. It should have 2 other buttons that actually do these things. And have you thought about this?"
Mhm.
I want that at the bottom because I can't be at the bottom. I need a feedback loop. So I
Mhm.
encourage leaders to lead and others to make mistakes so that we can
Mhm.
get the right feedback to make better decisions from the
I love that. I absolutely love that because I think that when you allow people to make mistakes, that's how they learn, you know,
top.
and they get better. Or in the mistake, you find that there's a bigger problem that you may not have known and how to kind of tighten that up and fix it. Like,
Mhm.
oh, that we might need to, now that that happened, we might
Mhm.
need to go and figure this other thing out, So sometimes, solving problems every single day, got to be doing it.
Mhm.
Love it. Love it.
100%. If you're not breaking things on purpose, you're not moving fast enough.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
like in my world, move fast. If it's working, we're not moving fast enough. Like it works and it's got to work. But if
Right.
it has little bugs here, little tweaks here, there's a little smoke coming out of here, there, that's okay. That
Right.
means that means we're right on the edge of being as fast as we could be. And when the day comes when Aaron Sheik sits on his back porch and he's like, "Well, I wonder what we're gonna do next week. Let's go figure it out." Like when I switch to maintenance mode, that's when I know it's time to do something else. So
Yeah.
there's no maintenance mode in me personally.
Yeah.
Therefore, in my business, we move at that same pace
Yeah.
because we're charging forward to
I
grow.
love it. I love it. We're charging forward here too. It's always a challenge. I'm like, oh, okay, what do we got? And I never get bored. I never get bored with what I'm doing. There's always a
Mhm.
new problem. And I think that's the car business. I think that's why I love it. There's always a new challenge. Plus the people are great, not gonna lie, you know.
It's the there's always a problem. Something's always on fire, and the people are amazing. Right? That's why we stay.
Yeah. And when I came to automotive, I came from the giant tech world. I don't know if you know this, but I worked for
Mhm.
this big tech company, and it was like everything was new and shiny. And then I come over to the automotive world, and it's like we still got files in manila boxes. I was like, but I saw it as an opportunity, you know.
Mhm.
What do you see as the opportunity now in automotive?
From a advertising standpoint or from a
Mhm.
dealership standpoint?
Advertising, tech, dealership, pick one,
Mm.
you got it. Where do
I'll,
you think we're going? I wanna know.
I'll sit in the client seat for just a second, and that I need to increase profits while decreasing expenses because floor
Mhm,
plan, insurance, cost of money, all of that is more expensive in 2024 than it has been the last 3 years. And my business is going to suffer if I can't figure out how to increase gross profit and decrease expenses. My name's on the sign. That's all I care about. I think if I look for ways to optimize that, or how do I increase revenue while decreasing expenses? Well, I certainly have to advertise. I know I have to advertise, and I know I sell something that someone else down the road sells, and I better be priced properly. My inventory better look right, sound right, be priced right, be move right. I think all of those will be more important in 2024 than they have been because competition will be tighter because money is more expensive. And for the first time in what is it, 10, 12 years, average American household income is down in
yeah,
2024 versus up. So I think macroeconomics say that we're staring at what could be a tough year if you're not positioned to make money on the right units with the right type of customer that can in the right use case. I think we're going to find a lot. We're going to still sell the high line luxury brands because I think folks are either making a lot of money or making very little. And I think
mhm,
we're going to see a lot of movement in used car market, sub 20K, subprime winners. That part of the
yeah,
business will be an
mhm,
absolute cash cow. And the dealers that understand banking systems, subprime systems, the way to put hard paper into vehicles will make more money in 2024 than they've made in the past. And I think they've done okay the last 2 years, to be fair. Um,
yeah.
I don't know.
I'm
That's how it feels
totally
from
gonna
my
change
seat.
that.
That's
Yeah,
how it feels from my seat. If I go nerd land, well, I've got to reduce expenses. So I have to be
yeah,
looking for products and partners that allow
mhm,
me to reduce the overall cost to get the same amount
mhm,
of profit. So if I'm spending $50,000 in my media package or my monthly ad spend, I
mhm,
can't spend 65. I need to
right,
figure out how to keep spending 50, but maybe do it for less. Can I do it with a vendor now? Like one vendor can do these three things instead of three vendors doing three things. Do I
mhm,
consolidate fees? Do I consolidate vendors to consolidate fees? Um, I mean, I'm betting on that as the CEO of Pure Cars and the Auto Miner.
mhm, mhm,
Like put them together. It's cheaper than the market. You get way more for your money, right? I think there are on the
mhm,
other side of my side of the desk, we have to place our bet and increasing gross profit for our dealership partners while
mhm,
decreasing their expenses on making that money and also giving the most amazing customer experience for their end customer because I
mhm,
represent their brand every
right,
time my advertising goes out.
right.
So it has to be right.
And I think too, a lot of dealerships, during these times, and I know even my time, I'm like, oh my God, the first thing you want to do is back off on your marketing. But it's the people that push on the marketing. I read this a long time ago. Grant Cardone has been one of my gurus for a long time.
Mhm.
Hello, Uncle G. Thank you so much for making me successful. But he was like, when you want to retreat, that's when you really need to go 10x into it,
Mhm.
because that's when you're going to be able to capture more market share. I do think that, that's the gamble. A lot of people want to retreat. It's kind of like the stock market when it goes down, you want to
Mhm.
sell, 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 but you really need to be buying. So I think that is, you're right on top, you're right on with that one. Um,
Mhm.
and finding the value, right? So maybe it's, the value of what people deliver. I don't always think
Mhm.
it comes down to cost. Sometimes I think it's the value, right?
It could be
Sometimes it's,
the cost, it could be the experience, it could be the value of the purchase at the store. Like I think it
mhm,
depends on the customer
mhm,
on what our dealership is the most important. The great ones get a great amount of those needs right? Like
mhm,
facilities and inventory and all of the things. So no, I agree. It's not always price. And I think you can be more expensive and have a better customer experience and make more
mhm,
money in this market and still be the most expensive. You
yeah,
just value versus price will be looked at now more than ever. So as long as the
mhm.
value's there, you can still win at a high ticket number.
Yeah, and I think too that you really must examine all, we started looking at our processes, right? How efficient is our processes in terms of, reducing costs? Like sometimes it comes down to like the time that it takes to do it a certain way, right? Is there
Yep.
a quicker, more efficient way? And I think that's one of the things that I really loved about the auto miner was that was like, if we're gonna go through and fix our data, there's, which could, I mean, for me, it's hours and hours
Hmm.
and hours, which is not a good use of my time
Right.
or resources, right? So, some of the things that come down to that, I think that's huge.
Yeah.
Um, I want it. So my guru is GC, but I wanted to find out who do you look to for motivation, inspiration?
Ooh,
You know,
it's
who's your
funny.
go-to, man? I want to hear.
It's funny. It's funny. I read them all, and I
Mhm,
listen to everything. So I've read everything Uncle G's ever put
mhm,
out, and I listen to all of them. Right, like I got all the Instagram motivational quotes in the morning that
mhm,
any one person could ever need.
mhm.
Um, I am. They say I don't know. I don't have no one. No one fuels my fire.
Really?
The big tiger is still chasing me.
Mhm.
I am still a small town kid with nothing in my pockets, trying to prove to my dad that I made it. And
I love it.
so it's who I am today. It's funny, he'll be here this week. He's flying down to watch my kids.
Mhm,
Great. So it is. Yeah, I don't have, and I don't know. Like, it sounds crazy, and it will sound egotistical to not say
mhm,
that, like, I don't have some, like, I tell everyone that works for me to go find your man, find your woman, find your
mhm.
person that you're like, man, I want
Yeah.
to be that person, I want to do them. And
Mhm,
I've done that for many times. Like, I worked with
mhm,
Brett Title at Goobagoo, and like that was I was like, God, I want to sell like him,
mhm,
I want to walk in a room, I want to
mhm,
command presence like him. So I've had traits of different people. Like, I worked
mhm,
for my last CEO in the Navy. Mark Creasy was like the most just stoic,
mhm.
stand up looking leader that could just eat a grenade and spit it back out with a smile. So it is, I take bits and pieces of what I like and I leave the
Yeah,
rest.
great.
And
I think that's good advice.
yeah, it's interesting now that I don't have a person anymore. I want to run in groups now that are, I want to be in
Mhm.
the right room with the right group of people
Yeah.
talking about the right things. So that one person that, all of the people that motivate me now, I'm like, probably smarter, probably could do it better, probably could work harder. Like, for me, they're competition now, and I don't mean that in like a
No, it's
negative
okay.
way, but
You can do that. You've earned
yes,
it, my friend.
yeah,
You've
it's
earned
just I look at them like, yeah, you're pretty good. I could probably be better, and maybe that's what drives me, is like it's
yeah.
always a competition for me. I'm just massively competitive. So I don't know. There's no person. It's just a big tiger, and I don't think I've achieved my potential yet. So how
Yeah.
far does it go? I don't know.
I don't know either. I mean, I'm always looking to, I mean, I've done GC. I love, we met through Glenn Lundy. I think
Hmm.
800%
Hmm.
is great.
Love
I
them.
do think, love him, amazing.
Hmm.
I think, I'm like a totally obsessed with Tiger Woods and Kobe Bryant. Like I have
Love them.
like big love for them. But I
Hmm.
love that you have a competition because I think it's like, okay, I think that's how I never really thought about it that way. It's just like, okay, how can I be better than that? Right. I'm of the impression of like, what can I absorb today that I'm gonna shoot back out into
Hmm.
the universe that's gonna be positive. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, well, I think that's a huge thing, right? Like, in order to do great things, you have to give and put out and do great
Mhm,
things for others in order to have that, like, your network in the community is what allows you to leapfrog, right? So
mhm,
by no means do you want to, like, I don't want to push anyone down to get up there, but I
right.
think that if I spread my wings far enough, I can fly up there by myself. And call me crazy, I don't think that anyone can stop me, because
Mhm.
I'll just figure out a different way to do it. And in life and business and whatever, like, oh, okay, no, I can't do it your way, but I'll figure out another way. And watch this. And I'll circumvent six other pieces to get the one thing that I want, you know?
I really love that. It's gotten me pretty far too. Like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
You say you can't? Okay, I'll go show you. I'll go show you
Watch
stuff.
this. Oh yeah,
I'll go
watch
show
this. Oh yeah.
oh yeah, I'll outwork you. I'll outwork
Yeah,
it. I'll figure it out. Na, na,
that's
na.
it.
All
That's
right, I
it.
wanna talk about, your family for a minute because I
Sure.
know how special they are to you. It takes a very special guy, uh, to do what you do. So if you wanna tell the audience about him.
Happy to do so. So I am massively fortunate to just work at my house. My
Mhm,
wife is amazing. I have four daughters, 10, 7, and my twins are 4 now these days. There's a
mhm,
tremendous amount of work in our house, and we love it. And I am grateful that whenever I take off the work hat, I just get to be dad. And I just work
mhm.
here, and I don't make any real like decisions other than like yogurt or pudding, and do you want a fork or a spoon? I try so hard to just be dad, and
Yeah.
like that's my thing. I like those are my girls. They're not going to
Mhm,
be babies forever, and I
mhm.
so like nothing else matters as long as they're good. So it is my family. Like my story is crazy, and it's short. It's much longer than the 30-minute window, but yeah,
Mhm.
my wife had a brain tumor removed,
Yeah.
and there's
You
all the
okay?
complications of what that looks and feels like, right? She's good to go today. So two
Excellent.
years removed, and she's okay. And but there's a
Yeah.
struggle of everyday life that just goes along with those
Mhm,
things, and having small kids and the stress of life. And at the same time, we're supposed to take all of that life and emotion and real human piece, and you got to put it over there because you got to go to work and
right.
you got to do great things and you got to be positive and proactive and creative and you got to be able to really compartmentalize yourself. If it wasn't for being in the Navy, I would have no way of ever doing it. I can take everything and stick it in a box and I'm like, I'll be back for you in an hour. I got to go make money real quick. And the having the ability to do that, I think, is a big deal because life is hard and things happen and
Mhm,
someone still has to go lead the company. uh,
right.
Everyone has problems. They can't wait or deal with mine. So, yeah, it's an interesting world that we live, my friend, sitting in the big chair of balancing
Yeah.
life and family and the feels with the everyday problems of the people.
Yeah, I always say because I grew up in a house of women, it takes a very special, patient man to deal with 5 women. Wait till they get a little older, it's gonna get real cray cray. Okay, but you have a beautiful wife, she's lovely. I wish Tammy all the best. I'm so glad that she has made it through, this and you've been there for her, like her rock, and, I think it's so important, and I'm so glad that you talked about that because a lot of people make excuses for
Mhm.
their lot in life, right? I can't do this, woe is me, and
Yeah,
you've really taken it and just said, all right, this is what it's gonna be, and just went for it. So um thank you for that
yeah.
because I think it's so
No,
important to be the strong one. Okay, now last question. Da, da, da,
here we
da,
go.
da. Okay, advice.
Mm.
Advice for those out there running stuff.
There's only 3 things that matter. The first one's your people. The second one is the culture. And the third
Mm,
one's the numbers. They're in that order for a reason. People, then culture, then numbers. You don't make money for very long if you don't have people that help you do it, that you don't care about, that you don't surround yourselves to take care of all of the
mhm,
things because life is hard. You can't do it alone. So people are the single most important thing that you can do in your business or in your life to be happy and successful. The second one is culture, and I don't care if it's life or it's work. If those people are the right for you, they'll love you and support you and help you be better, or they'll won't and they'll feed the tiger to help you be better and therefore still making
mhm,
you be better. The culture that surrounds your everyday life has to be transparent with who you are in the workplace,
mhm,
uh, for better or for worse. Like talk to 100 people, 50 of them love me, 47 of them despise me, depending on the day of the week. Because being a leader is lonely and hard, and you can't make emotional decisions for every human. It's
Mhm.
why it's too impactful to your culture. So if you get the people right, your culture is right without you having to enforce it. And then
Mhm.
the last one's numbers, like happy people with great culture that are working together on a unified mission bigger than themselves has incredible numbers. And you can do hundreds of millions of dollars in your business because you don't have to do it alone.
Aaron,
How to
you're
do.
amazing. Amazing. You're amazing. Amazing. Thank you so
Appreciate you.
much.
You're very welcome.
Honestly, I'm so grateful. I hope that we can catch up after the show. And
Yeah.
guys, thank you again. Please like, subscribe, share. This man's amazing. CEO of Pure Cars. He's doing it every single day. He's a true leader and one of my dearest friends. So thank you again. And we will see you on the next episode of CarBiz Leaders Live featuring the principal's office. Thank you.
Thanks.